Today, I'd like to share with you not only a little about my favorite season, but also a glimpse into how the Holy Spirit moves and speaks in my soul. Like many of you, autumn is my favorite time of year. After a hot and humid summer, the crisp, cool weather is so refreshing, and it's the perfect time for walks. Long walks, if you have the time for it, but even short ones can lift your spirits this time of year. So off I went on one of these strolls, and as I was inhaling the amazing scents and the beautiful colors of fall, I was also listening to the sounds. As the seasons change, not only do the aromas and the colors change, but so do the sounds. Instead of gently brushing leaves in a breeze, now it's the rustling of dry leaves. And when there's no wind at all, you can even hear a leaf or a nut fall all the way from the top of the tree to the ground. Anyway, as I caught myself listening and pondering on the change of sound, I asked the Lord how that applied to my spiritual life. I usually try to take most things and in some way apply it spiritually or pull some small gem out of it. Ignatius of Loyola, one of the great saints, said, "Pay close attention to the movement of the Spirit within you." Now, this movement of this Holy Spirit within us can be saying many different things, such as urging us to move on to a different ministry, or convicting us of sin, or even encouraging us when we're on the right path. But for myself, on this particular day of strolling and taking in all the wonderful seasonal changes, the Holy Spirit just kept really impressing on my soul the change of sound. Generally, I sense the movement and sound of the Holy Spirit speaking to me as a very quiet, gentle nudge. I think for many people, this is how He speaks to us, quietly, gently, and with whispers. But this day, instead of His voice falling like a feather, it bounded in like a gale-force wind, blowing most of the leaves and a few acorns even off the tree and into my soul. I asked Him why the sudden change, why the rush of wind and the gush of His presence, which was welcome but very different, and it kind of made me a little nervous. Well, His answer came slowly as we strolled, because now I realized it wasn't just me out for a stroll. It was we. We were out walking in the cool autumn air. He said it was time for my spirit to grow. Or as another great saint, Teresa of Avila, might put it, time to ascend, explore, and inhabit another room in the interior castle of my soul. We all have one of those, an interior castle. You have one that can be nurtured and inhabited room by room. If you're interested in learning about growing in your spiritual life in this way, you can just Google St. Teresa of Avila and you'll find it there. But back to his answer and my response. I did sort of wince when he told me that growing pains were going to be there. I told him that growing pains can sure be painful. Then, just as a big gust of wind blew several beautiful leaves off a tree, he spoke to my heart. And he said, "The things you love most about this season are the color of the leaves, the scent, and the crispness of the air. Think of these three things in the same way as your spiritual growth. These things are so beneficial to you and you enjoy them so much. But do you realize that the leaves have to die to find this beauty? The scent you love is actually leaf mold. And the crispness in the air is a foretelling of the blustery winter to come. Just as the seasons change, so it is with your spiritual life." He said, to move up in this interior castle, to make strides in your spiritual life, for us to grow closer together, will require you to let go of some things, just like the trees let go of the leaves. It will require you to leave things to me and stop worrying about them, just like the leaves lay dormant and become mulch to help the growing process. And it will require you to speak to others about me with a refreshing new boldness, just like the crispness in the air refreshes everyone. So this is a tiny glimpse into how the Holy Spirit sounds to me, how I hear and feel the Lord prompting me. Now I encourage you to think about how He sounds to you. Do you hear Him quietly or boldly? Do you hear Him at all? If not, just tell Jesus that you struggle to hear His voice. Let Him know that just like the sound of crunching leaves grabs your attention, you want to hear the sound of His voice in your heart, speaking to you and guiding you. I'll leave you with one quote by St. Teresa of Avila. She said, "The soul must forget about understanding and abandon itself into the arms of love, and His Majesty will teach it what to do next." Have a wonderful week, everyone.